अस्सलाम वालेकुम फ्रेंड्स, वेलकम बैक टू अनदर व्लॉग। तो आज मैं आया हूँ फ्रेंड्स स्नूकर क्लब गेम खेलने के लिए। तो मैंने कहा चलें आपको भी अपनी गेम दिखाते हैं। और अगर आपने मेरा अभी तक चैनल सब्सक्राइब नहीं किया तो काइंडली मेरे चैनल को सब्सक्राइब कर लें और बेल आइकन पर ज़रूर क्लिक कर देना। तो ये 2 टेबल फ्रंट में और 2 टेबल बैक में, सेंटर में लूडो। और आपको क्लब में ही कैंटीन मिल जाती है, बहुत अच्छे हर किस्म की कोल्ड ड्रिंक्स और ग्लेज आपको मिल जाते हैं खाने के लिए। तो आइए मैच शुरू करते हैं।
Two bright stars in the world of snooker, then. Whirlwind Jimmy White breaks off. Known, of course, as a great starter in all his matches. Can he win this first frame? For pot black is one frame only.
Terry is well aware that this young man is completely tied up with nerves. When things are going well in the game of snooker, the balls become pills, the pockets, buckets.
50.
The dying embers for Eddie Charlton, the Australian champion.
And a nice little use of the centre pocket bump there.
I felt fantastic. I did, honestly. I felt super. And what happened? He did me 6-1.
So yeah, I've been watching snooker quite a bit recently, and it's a serious sport, and this is why I thought I would wear some serious clothes. And I personally think it might be the most relaxing sport to watch, at least. And I gotta say, I especially like watching old snooker matches from the 1980s and so on, because it feels like time traveling a bit, like the crowds look so strange. The arena sometimes look like spaceships. People talk very differently. It's very British, all of it. And even some of the snooker players look kind of interesting, I gotta say. Okay, so I don't want to pretend like I know so much about snooker, but it's definitely different from billiard or pool, whatever it's called where you live. It's been invented by the British, the military, I think in India even. It's different from pool in that the balls don't have numbers, they're a bit smaller too, and the curve is a bit different too. The table might be larger actually, and the balls just have colors, and there are some rules as to which colors you have to put in first, and some colors give you more points, and basically you have 2 players playing against each other, and the player getting more points wins the frame, and the player winning more frames is the winner of the entire game, basically. And there are more intricacies, of course, but I can explain this in another video. But let's start with the relaxing stuff. So first of all, I think the snooker sounds in and of themselves are quite relaxing for ASMR purposes. The balls, the queue, the walking around. Here are some moments, some sounds I enjoyed.
No. One. Four.
Generally, there's not much interference from the crowd, which I do appreciate. There's no loud screaming or whistling or something. They're very civilized. And I think in general there's quite a lot of dignity and elegance to the sport, and formality even, which I do appreciate. It's very British, I guess, in a way, nostalgic. You can still feel kind of like the grandeur of the British Empire in this sport. And the referees wear these white gloves and they say the score, and also the way they put the balls on the table. They kind of look like old British butlers of the royal family. And also the snooker players themselves wear these suits or vests or whatever you want to call them. So it really looks like they take the game seriously. And I also like that you have these young 20-year-olds, but also some 50-year-olds sometimes still competing at a high level, which is kind of nice, I guess. And yeah, I would definitely say it's a gentleman's sport, because apparently you can get disqualified even if you behave too ungentleman-like. And the players are quite nice to each other, not too competitive, and even if they lose, they're not too rowdy-like, which I do appreciate. But here is what I want to focus on specifically, the snooker commentators, because they're very calm and deliberate in what they say. They're not as loud and obnoxious as some, let's say, commentators of soccer from South America. And they have some of the best voices for ASMR as far as I'm concerned. They're almost whispering in some sense. And this is why I chose to make this video. And one commentator stands out specifically, Ted Lowe, Whispering Ted. By the way, all these snooker people have cool nicknames like Wizard or Magician or whatever. So Ted Lowe is also called Whispering Ted, and he has some of the best ASMR voices, I think. He's really almost whispering in many instances. And he's kind of a legend. He commentated for the BBC from the 80s up until 1996 and passed away in 2011, I think. And he has just one of the best voices. And also, it's almost poetic the way he talks sometimes and the way he describes the scenery. And I really enjoyed, and this is why I decided to make a compilation of my favorite moments of Ted Lowe. So, check out Whispering Ted.
Steve Davis won the toss and will break. And joining Willie in the commentary box, who else but Mr. Pot Black himself, Ted Lowe.
Yes, thank you, Eamon. The 21st series of Pot Black. It's coming of age and all dressed up in a new party frock. Terry is well aware that this young man is completely tied up with nerves. Anxiously wanting to get back to the table. Want to disturb those four, I think. The greatest snooker tournament in the world. The title that all snooker players dream of. And there's the young man who is dreaming to retain it.
Foul, John Parrott, 4.
The first points of the championship then. A foul from the Australian, Eddie Charlton. Nicknamed, of course, Steady Eddie. A tough opponent. You see the figure in between, just underneath the word frames, 19. That is the total of number of frames they play in this. Now that really puts Charlton in trouble. He's got to get out of the snooker, and of course he must not leave a red on for the former champion Ray Ridd. Great shot from Ridden, that. A relaxed and satisfied Redden. The dying embers for Eddie Charlton, the Australian champion, as former champion Reardon steadily clears up The last three reds. And now
17.
for the remaining six colours. A lead of 72 points, with Charlton, in fact, yet to score. A great performance by Welshman Ray Reardon. Fred Davis, the old campaigner, 27 years senior to his opponent. He's just 7 points behind. A trifle unlucky, he wanted to leave that blue into the top pocket. Gone about 2 inches too far. 6 points in front. Davis requires 2 balls, Munns the 3. That almost permanent smile. Our audience literally electrified, glued to their seats. And he's played a double. And Reardon sits apparently relaxed, while Perry the question at the moment, will Reardon go 5 frames in front, or will Perry Munns reduce the lead to 3 frames? Our capacity audience once again thoroughly enjoying the World Championships here at the Crucible Theatre in Sheffield. Over the past 12 days, we've seen 7 century breaks. The highest, of course, by John Spencer, a break of 138, which at the moment still claims the £500. Cue ball dangerously near the blue, but he can in fact get to the pink if he so wishes. But being a left-hander, he's going for the little fish. Reardon lulling Munns into making a mistake. Relaxed, cool, just waiting for the world title. Now, what has he done here? Is this the mistake that Reardon has been waiting for? Munns has 42 points on the scoreboard. That red is Reardon's first.
2 bright stars in the world of snooker, then. Well, when Jimmy White breaks off. World champion Alex Higgins requires a very big break to feature in Pot Black 83. It's the 20-year-old Londoner away first. Jimmy has one victory so far in Pot Black 83. He was defeated by Australian champion Eddie Charlton and then took victory over the pin-up boy Tony Knowles.
And our audience there completely glued and spellbound with the play that's going on in this particular match. The blue will put him 1 point in front. Those two reds are rather close together, and I feel that the center one will not go into the top pocket. Now our camera this time taking you with the Q arm of Charlton as he gets out of that snooker and the mistake is made. This surely then is the chance that Canadian champion Cliff Thorburn has been waiting for 4 frames now. 8 points behind. He wants this frame to go forward into the 1978 semi-finals. A long and hard battle against the tenacious Eddie Charlton from Australia. Eddie now relaxed, realizing the mistake he's made. A great match then from our two stars from overseas. On your screen now, Canadian champion Cliff Thorburn. Sat quietly in the wings, as it were, Australian champion Eddie Charlton. Surely nerves have not crept in at this critical stage of this 49-frame final. 42-14. The dying moments now of the Embassy World Professional Snooker Championship for 1978. At the table, taking the last 4 balls, is former champion on 5 occasions, Welshman Ray Redden. He's now just 2 points behind. Requires both pink and black. Jamie's dad, Drew, owns the Corner Pocket Club in Blantyre, the birthplace of David Livingstone. Not a lot of people know that. Yes, dicing with death there. A little bright smile on his face.
1.
And this, of course, John, exactly what the world champion requires is a nice, easy start to get the confidence going. There's an angle on this pink.
John Paddock, 21.
Not easy there to keep that cue ball in amongst the reds when he was on that angle. Steadily building up a nice lead in this first frame.
11.
A very confident start then by the defending world champion.
$22.
The shot made more difficult, of course, by having to use the rest. John, just having a quick look at the scoreboard. There's only 51 points left on the table now, and he's 51 points ahead. This blackman.
$58.
That's the situation, it would appear. The reigning champion has the second frame.
8. $11.
When things are going well in the game of snooker, the balls become pills, the pockets, buckets.
15. $20.
It looks so easy.
26.
Yes, I've often referred to that as the lonely seat. Amazing that the packed audience there have been in since 20 past 10 this morning. Thrilled, of course, with this match, but as you well know, John, the first match here at the Crucible in Sheffield, fairly well known that it's probably the toughest match that any of the stars have to play. John shouts to the audience a single word: help. That's the position facing him. He's on a colour and nominated the yellow. I think he's looking for the yellow this time, John.
19.
He's gone too high. That puts him 36 points ahead.
25. 26.
And in the meantime, the simple
16.
red left over the top pocket has allowed the world champion to step in.
17.
Now 50 points ahead.
And to break off, the young man who has achieved so much in just 12 months, making his third appearance in Pot Black. Dennis Taylor, runner-up in Pot Black on 2 occasions. That was way back in 1975 and 76. Known, of course, as a great starter in all his matches. Can he win this first frame? For Pot Black is 1 frame only. And this time a red has gone into bulk. That, of course, will upset the safety play. Our camera showing you the 1 red that's possible, but it's difficult. He's just had a look at the red, see if it'll pass that black into the top pocket.
Five.
Come a little close to it. Touch that in, and of course he's on the black. Not as he intended.
30. $14.
Trying to work out the next red.
$17.
Left himself a fine cut on this red. The pink will pass the reds into the top pocket. Now I think with this red he'll come back up for the black. Tried to split up the reds there. Looking at a possible plant. The two reds in line for the top pocket.
Now, as you can see, young Molly O'Sullivan has 4 minutes and 13:12, coming down to 11 seconds
9.
to run out. The match itself still has 8 minutes and 20 seconds at the moment to run.
And by the way, the two players you've just seen are arguably two of the biggest legends of snooker. The first one is, the ginger one, is Steve Davies, also called the Ginger Magician, I think, and also the Nugget. He was very dominant since the 80s, basically, won so many tournaments. And then there's Ronnie O'Sullivan, very young in this very game, but he still plays. Actually, in 2020, he won the World Cup basically at 44 and has been very, very consistent. And Davies was actually a really good chess player, by the way, and many people say snooker is very much like chess because you have to plan in advance. And by the way, snooker was one of the most popular sports back in the day. And I think one match, 20 million people or so watched on BBC. The one between Steve Davies and this commentator guy with the crazy glasses. In any case, I also want to point out that many other hosts and commentators have amazing voices for ASMR aside from Ted Lowe. Here are some of the voices I really enjoyed.
John obviously thinking of coming across the table just above the pink to rest against one of these two reds near this left-hand corner pocket.
Bow 4, Jimmy White.
Now is Jimmy going to try and bring the black into play here? Move the red to the left of the black.
Well, knocking the red beside the black in the previous shot hasn't helped matters. And immediately whilst the opportunity is there, he's handled that very well. He's got himself out of trouble there.
What?
Oh, Jim taking the red whilst there's a black available, because that's what he needs. And he makes this look so easy, but the shots that he's playing, he's dicing with such very fine limits. He really is quite a character.
$54.
Now the open red causes a little concern for safety play. And a nice little use of the centre pocket bump there, the knuckle of the pocket to lift him away.
11. 22.
And just look at the cue power that Jimmy has. He really overdid that, but with such ease. Beautiful cue action. And that little extra care he took on potting the black there did indicate that he was going into the pack. Well, again, he's looking for a possible plant there. He seems to have found one. Nicely through the bottom colours. Back for the black here. No, he's gone back for one of the lower colours. Probably intended the blue there.
We seem to have seen this pattern of play in quite a number of the frames that have gone in the past. Perry building up a nice lead with a few small breaks, but losing out all the time on his position. And the danger, of course, is once Ray gets in, he's likely to clear the table and win the frame. We've seen this happen numerous times throughout this match.
Of course, as we see the screens, Ted, even though the master clock is going down a second at the time, each player's score is going down half a second.
Yeah.
So the second is being split between them. So virtually every 2 seconds they lose a second each. That's what's happening at the moment. And of course the master clock is one every second.
It was the brown in the previous frame that cost